それこそが俺のバニタスに対する復讐だ。
Huh? What did Vanitas do to him? Hi everyone, I'm going to react to the case study of Vanitas, Night of Mocking Masks, episode 4, Night of Mocking Masks. And last episode, Vanitas kissed Jan. That was a whole thing. There's this character Dominique that showed up and dragged Noe to the world of vampires, I guess, and Vanitas also followed them there, and it's called Altus Paris, I think. So yeah, that's why the episode ended. And before we get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting my Patreon at patreon.com/feeling and now let's start this episode, and here we go. Okay, they started this episode with, I guess, a little bit of lore into the vampires' background, how they came to be. There was this person called Paracelsus who thought about there was this other world beyond the human world where you have all these equations, and then he manipulated these equations, and at the end of that there was this incident called the Babel incident, and that created three things: the vampires, the Astormite, and they said flowers that gave up if sunlight or something or other like that. So that's how they came to be, like the vampires. That's how they came to be. And then they were gonna go to this ball, right? And they showed Noe and Dominique, and basically Dominique was sort of like upset with Noe for letting Vanitas come into the vampire world and everything, because she didn't actually trust Vanitas. She felt like Vanitas was using Noe for something, and especially when you think about the history that they've known about how Vanitas, like the original Vanitas, decided that he was gonna wage war against the Crimson, the vampires born under the Crimson Moon. So anybody that sees Vanitas and sees the book of Vanitas and everything, they're gonna assume that they wanna that Vanitas is coming for them, so that's why she didn't trust Vanitas. So when she got him in this torture chamber or whatever, I'm like, okay, she had him tied up and everything, and then there were these knives that kept going after him, and I'm like, okay, it feels like it should be coming from Dominique, right? But it's not like I'm actually seeing her throwing the knives, so I was like sort of like confused about how that was happening. Were they just basically cutting that part off? But then again, one of the knives, or some of the knives, I don't know, either way, they freed Vanitas from the thing. So I'm like, who's throwing the knives? If it was Dominique, why would she free Dominique? Or why would she free Vanitas? Like, I didn't quite get what was happening in that scene. And based on the conversation that they just had, Vanitas is like, okay, I guess I just need to properly introduce myself to every vampires so they know what I'm about. And then he like free fall. I'm like, I didn't think about the chandelier there. I'm like, why are you free falling? You are a human. You're gonna die. I always think that he's gonna die, but I should know that he's not, because they already told us how he died. He's gonna die or whatever. So he fell onto this chandelier and just basically announced himself to the whole crowd. And during that, he said that the reason why he was gonna save these crimson vampires is because it's his act of revenge against Vanitas. So I guess the original Vanitas did something to him, and that's why he wants revenge against him by saving the Crimson Vampires. What he did, I don't know. And he has a mark on his arm that basically tells you that you are part of the Blue Moon clan or something or other like that. So, but the vampires there didn't really, yes, he said what he said, but they're not just gonna take your word for it. They're still gonna believe that you are wanting to curse them and all of that. So, there was a moment there when Vanitas was declaring his intentions and everything, and then he said that he was cursed by the vampire of the Blue Moon, and then they had this sort of like figure behind him, I'm guessing representing the Blue Moon vampire, and the way they draw that, it looked like the way that Charlatan looks. Like the big eyes and the big smile, like it's really similar. So I'm wondering, it has to be, right? Because the vampire of the Blue Moon said that he was gonna curse the vampire of the Crimson Moons, the vampires of the Crimson Moon, and that's what the charlatan person has been doing. He's been cursing these vampires, and then they look similar. So I'm assuming that this charlatan, either they are the original not crimson, vampire of the Blue Moon, or they work with him or in some ways. Like maybe they're also part of his clan. Like I don't know, but they were present at the ball. They were present there, and then all of a sudden you hear this. Well, after Vanitas declared his intentions, and then Luca's sister showed up, and they're like, okay, let's hunt him let's kill him, basically. And then Jean saved Vanitas, right? He saved Vanitas, and then they were on the terrace someplace or other, and then before she even got there to save him, you see her like holding her neck, like painting and everything. I'm like, okay, what's going on with him? At first, they first showed her doing that when Vanitas was being threatened by Dominic. So I'm thinking, okay, wait, is she feeling that Vanitas is in danger after the kiss that happened? Maybe that kiss created this kind of bond, I don't know, between them, and that's why she was acting like that. And because they showed that the first thing right as Vanitas were being tortured, I guess. So I'm thinking that's what she's feeling. But it turns out that she was hungry. And then when they were on the terrace, then we keep hearing this like noise or whatever. So I'm thinking Vanitas asked her if she was cursed. And then you see all these vampires at the ball, like being cursed and everything. So I'm like, okay, is this noise that's happening affecting her in some ways? And is she like on the way of being cursed or something? So, but then Vanitas is like, oh, you must just be, you want to feed. Yeah, that's what he said. And then he asked her to feed on him. I feel like, I don't know. I'm about to say, since earlier in the episode, Noe fed on Dominique, and he was outside. He maybe he also wanted to know how that feels like or something. But then again, he was also in love with her. So it's like if she's in distress or whatever, he's gonna gonna want to help. And clearly, it was an experience that they both enjoyed. But while they were doing all that, you have Luca and Noe there fighting off these people and whatnot. And I'm like, can you guys, talking about Vanitas and Jean, I'm like, can you guys like finish up real quick what you're doing and head there, because you're gonna need Vanitas's power, the book and whatever to heal those vampires. And yeah, the Noe was facing them, and then he's like, "Who are you guys?" And then the shadow, did he say, or the person said charlatan, and then the shadowy figure with the big eyes and mouth and whatnot, like, got out of that thing, and he's like, "We are charlatan." So it's like, I think that's where the episode ended. Now, there were two scenes that I guess I'm wondering about. When Vanitas told Jan to feed on him, and she's like, I can't do that. And then she had this flash of Luca giving her this flowery crown or something or other like that. And I'm like, why? Why did she think about him in that particular moment? Does she feed on Luca, and she's not allowed to feed on anybody else? Is that it, or what? Like that scene, like that particular thing, I'm like, what's that about? And then there was the conversation between Dominique and Noe, and what did she say? Oh yeah, Noe said that she smelled sweet, and then she's like, "Do you want to feed on me?" And then he had this flash about his friend when he was down on there, and I believe in the previous episode, the friend was like, "Do you want to feed on me? It's gonna stop something or other like that." I don't know, like, I don't quite remember exactly what he said there, but he had that flash about the friend and him there. So it's like, why? Why is it that in both cases, with Dominique and Noe, and with Jean and Vanitas, when it came to feeding on whoever was there, they both had flashes about somebody else. You know, I'm confused about that. So hopefully there are going to be answers to that. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to the next episode, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/followme, and you can also see the full length for this reaction there as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. My baby's for my girl, for the way they changed my world. Waking up today, I just gotta say thank you, Lord.